PFF gives Eagles rookie offensive guard Tyler Steen the lowest grade in pass protection among all offensive guards who played a certain percentage of snaps in Week 9. You can't make this crap up, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's a true statement. They gave this young man the lowest grade in pass protection. Never mind that Tomlinson from the Jets gave up 8 pressures and freaking 2 sacks in a football game last week. It's Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen was their lowest graded guy because he gave up 6 pressures, which equated to 5 hurries and 1 quarterback hit. Clearly, the young man playing one of the better pressure teams in the NFL must have been the worst guy out there in pass protection, because that adds up. That makes sense from what the film showed us, guys. I don't know what to say here. That's what they graded it. I'm going to show you what I saw from the film personally. I'm going to break down what I thought the strengths were of this young man, where I think the development has to occur with this young man. And I do think, to be honest, he had an up-and-down performance. But to be graded out 41st out of 57 offensive guards overall, and then the lowest graded guy you have in pass pro, and then the 16th highest in run blocking? Yeah, I'm just going to say that I saw things a little differently from PFF. Let's get it. What's up, Cerebral Football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. So I want to start off by saying I do agree that there were some things on the film that made you say this young man still has a ways to go in terms of development. The Cowboys used this look a couple of times, guys, where they would bring up either a safety or a linebacker to get a 5-man front. So this is Damone Clark on this particular play. Then you can see that they have to the left side, Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler Jr. to the right side. Looks like Dorrance Armstrong and Lawrence. They're purposely trying to create these one-on-one situations to single up Tyler Steen and attack him. When he got matched up on speed rushers, edge rushers that they kind of kicked inside or played off ball and then brought up on the line of scrimmage, like Micah Parsons and those guys. They did this with Dexter Lawrence, where they would kind of bring him in, whether they were stunting or lining him up right over top of this young man. Yes, I mean, he had some definitely breakdowns in protection when that was occurring, which you'd probably expect a guy who's never played, let alone collegiately, but definitely in the NFL at that spot, to have a little trouble matching up with pass rushers of that caliber when you're trying to adjust playing in that phone booth. Yes, it was on the film. I saw it. I am going to say that I would not grade this guy anywhere near the top, like 25, 30 dudes in pass protection for last week. But I got to be honest, too, what the film showed, which is when he was lined up an interior defensive lineman, he was pretty dang good. You could see that underlying athleticism, that offensive tackle-like footwork out there, how solid and good the footwork is, hold up and stonewall dudes. I'm pretty sure he's lined up on number 95, Jonathan Hankins here, an interior defensive lineman. But if you're wondering who the heck just beat Jordan Mailata there, that was Sam Williams. If we're going to penalize him for losing to guys like Micah Parsons, shouldn't he get credit for beating the easy matchups as well? Shouldn't it balance itself out? And even when we go beyond just what he did versus interior defensive linemen, and then we look at some of the other snaps he had against some of these edge rushers that were they were doing different things to line him up on him, he still came out on top a couple of times. He did a pretty dang good job given the circumstances. You can see here that Micah Parsons and Dorrance Armstrong are playing off ball, kind of upright. They want to create that space and try to challenge the guard, the center, and the guard. You can see at the snap here, look at the pass off, look at Tyler Steen hanging in there. He's doing a really good job. I thought it was a really good job passing off, man. And, they got the wide nines out there, too, as well, trying to get to the quarterback. And this just kind of sets up a nice little easy scramble drill for Jalen Hurts, which then sets up an easy quarterback sneak. Run blocking. This is what I saw from the film as a run blocker. This guy is really strong at the point of attack, and you can see the arguments for size protection here. You can definitely understand why Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson spoke so highly of this young man. He's a fierce competitor. He definitely has that thing about him that some offensive linemen have, but where they're just nasty players, and they'll definitely take their opportunities to, pancake you. Dallas right now is +1 on the right-hand side in the run box. So what do? Brian Johnson, brilliant play design where he just basically shifts them over and gets a hat on a hat. Now we're even in the run. And now let's watch what Tyler Steen does here to Jonathan Hankins. Holds him just long enough so that way we can reach the outside. And Jonathan Hankins is a big, strong interior defensive lineman. That's an accomplishment for a rook. Now we got a clean path straight into the end zone, man, for Kenny G. With that said, I didn't think that he did the greatest job in the world working to the second level. And I don't think he does the greatest job in general working in space, like when he's running gap and things like that. I still think there's a ways to go with development there. I don't think that young man was anywhere near the 16th best overall offensive guard ranked number 1 in terms of the interior players in that game between Dallas and Philly, period, in terms of run blocking. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, to be quite honest. With that said, I still think he should have been graded out pretty dang highly because he had some really, really good film and run blocking situations. And on top of that, I will say that I do think that young man has a lot of room to grow. I do think that this young man is going to only get better as time goes on, and he looks like a dude that could be a potential Pro Bowl player in a couple of years. I mean, he does have that kind of underlying talent to him when you watch the film. I do want to talk for a second, just a little further, about some of the misses he had at the second level, in particular this play here. It's where it's a combo block. He's supposed to work up to the top here. And, yeah, there were some times he got a little lost at the second level. I'm not going to lie about that, but he's still really young. And this was more so, man, he just lost his footing here, and then he couldn't get over to the linebacker. The conversation I know that everyone probably really wants to get into, which is, would you pull Cam Jurgens to play Tyler Steen more? I think that's a hard question to answer because, number one, there's a multi-level analysis to that, which to begin with is, what is Cam Jurgens' health? I mean, if Cam Jurgens is not 100%, I would just keep Tyler Steen out there and get the reps. If Cam Jurgens is 100% back from his injury, he's the better football player right now, guys. I mean, it's all over the tape. He's the better player right now. There's no doubt about that. But the other complication to this is we're talking about Tyler Steen having a lot of ability. We're talking about Tyler Steen having a lot of natural gifts. And I just stated this is someone I could see in a couple of years with regular routine and reps inside of games becoming a potential Pro Bowl-like player. Well, how do you get there if you don't play him? That's the other side to such a discussion, right? It's how do you reach that objective if you're not going to play the player a certain percentage of snaps to give him opportunities? It's tough, guys. This is a tough situation because we're 8-1. We got a couple of pretty tough games coming up, man. I don't think that the schedule was as bad as it once looked once upon a time. I think some of these teams look a little bit more beatable than we would have assumed at the beginning of the season. But with that said, we're in a situation where I don't know if you can get too fancy with trying to develop guys, to be quite honest. I honestly think the young man has a very bright future, and I think this is a situation where if you can lock up home field advantage and you get this young man into football games and you can play him at the end of the season, those reps are going to be valuable because he is going to eventually be the right guard of this football team. I would also challenge the Eagles to, guys, figure out your situation for securing these football games and putting them away because these fourth quarter reps could be very important to the development of a guy like Tyler Steen, who is eventually going to be a starter on your football team. I do think that those things are very true, guys. I do think that we need to get better at that particular set of circumstances if we want this young man to kind of develop without having to play him, as the starter right now because we're in a situation where one guy is clearly better at this exact moment, but the future is still with the other dude. It's a tough situation, guys. I'm curious what you guys thought from what you saw on the film from this young man. I mean, do you think this dude was the lowest rated pass pro? You think he was lowest in pass protection in the entire NFL at the guard position? Come on, man. I can't get over that one. And then also, you guys tell me your viewpoint. How would you play this situation with Jurgens and Steen? I think it's one thing if Jurgens is not 100% healthy, but if Jurgens is 100% healthy, he was really good on the year. I'm not going to lie. If you want to learn more about the channel, guys, hit that up there. It'll take you to some more videos. And with that said, guys, peace. I'm out of here.